Hello and welcome to the Lund University International Podcast. On the show, you'll hear from current students, alumni, teachers, and many more special guests as we explore what it's really like to live and study in Lund. My name is Bénédicte, and I am a student worker at External Relations. I am also a recent graduate in the Master's Program of Development Studies, and I'm from Mauritius. Today's episode is titled Graduating from Lund University, and it's the last episode for the season.
Yay!
So today with me, I have two guests who could introduce themselves. So we have Lukrecija.
Yes, hello, I'm Lukrecija. I come from Lithuania, and I've just completed my master's, 2 years long master's in environmental management and policy program. So I'm very glad about that. Woo!
Yes, thank you. And Mumbi?
Yes, so my name is Mumbi, and I'm from Zambia, and I just finished my 1-year master's program. It was an MSc in Information Systems, and really glad to be done.
Yeah, cool. Yes, nice to hear. So I understand that me included, we're all graduating this June.
Yes.
How does it feel for you to be graduating?
It's such a huge achievement because it was a long year. It was a long year. So it feels really, I'm really proud of myself and all my classmates and every other graduate because, we made it to the finish line.
Definitely. I feel like it takes some time to really calm down and understand that you have graduated. For me, my program was 2 years long, so I felt like I was going towards this goal of graduation, finishing, getting my master's degree, and then now it's here. And I think, until it really settles in your brain and heart and soul, it takes some time. So I'm a little bit, I defended my master's thesis 4 days ago. So I think I'm still learning how to rest, how to really feel the joy and not just the nerves, before the final days.
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, my program was 2 years. So it's all the memories of the past 2 years, the friends we made, the classes, the teachers, all the experiences. And now we had this ceremony yesterday, in my case.
Wow.
So it's still hard to realize for now, I guess, but it will come in the coming weeks or months. So have you had a ceremony as well, or any other events with your class so far?
I had my ceremony yesterday as well, just like you. And it felt so surreal. A part of me was still clicking in, this is happening. It's actually happening. And it was beautiful. It was brief. It ended a lot sooner than I thought it would. We had it in the Lund building, the Lund University School of Economics and Management, the room that has a large tree.
Yeah. How does that work?
Very well, I guess. It's sustainable. So that was great. Yeah.
And the Christian?
Nice. My ceremony is actually next week only, so now we're in the middle of the planning, but we will have it in the Lund University White Building.
Yes.
Very excited. I've seen my previous batch of my program graduating in the building last year, so I already know what's coming. It's very nice to be the one called up on the podium in the White Building, so I'm looking forward. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I did my ceremony in that exact building yesterday. So if I can transfer the images that come to my mind right now to you. But no, it's very impressive. It's this big, wild, the main university building, basically, that many of you who's listening to us can see on some advertisement products from Lund University. And it's not open every day. That's the thing. So when you get to graduate or enter the building for some specific event, it's still very impressive. And you feel humbled, I would say, by all the centuries of, people who just entered for some reason. So you feel very small, I think, in a big spectrum of time.
Yeah.
But let's say if we go back a bit to your time in Lund, do you have any highlights that come to your mind if I put you on the spot now?
Any highlights from my time in Lund? I mean, I think I had lots of... my program is very international. We are 33 students from 25 different countries, from different continents. So there's so much internationality, if we can say that. I don't know. We have so many cultural events that we do, and we share different dances and food together. So I think all of that together, it really taught me a lot, a lot of intercultural competences and... just a lot of good time learning about other cultures and people. So that's the biggest highlight.
That's nice. Yeah. And
I would say the same as well. We have half of my class Swedish students, and then the other half international students. And for me, because I was coming from outside of Sweden, it was my first time here, one of the highlights was getting lost in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
And I heard this mentioned by one of the valedictorians yesterday, getting on the right bus in the wrong direction. So that was definitely a highlight in the first couple of weeks. But just learning and growing over the period of time that I was here, it was a few months, but it felt like such a huge spurt of growth in such a short space of time. So if I think of another highlight, I think it was the thesis defense.
Yes.
Oh.
My whole life flashed in front of me. Because they really give you a little bit of a hard time because you have to prove that this is your work and defend it.
Yes.
So that was massive, and I'm really glad to have gotten through it.
Exactly.
If I can just mention, for me, yesterday we had this celebration dinner with my parents and my boyfriend's parents, and we were discussing highlights of this year just. And one of them was the defense for me as well, the master's defense, because in my case it was from a teacher that I've read some of her writings 4 years ago when I got introduced to a topic that I did my thesis on. And to have her in front of me discussing and her treating me as her equal, that was, I could not even dream of something like that before coming to the university. So it was the achievement of, I guess, your whole life of studying.
Yeah, wow.
And I think, it's not so much a ceremony, I guess. Of course, it's very nice inside a building, but it's the small little steps on the way that come together and make the experience unforgettable.
The journey, not the goal, you know?
Correct. Yes. And that was a positive side of our experience in Lund. And maybe just if we could reflect on, have you had any challenges or things that were a bit hard, especially as an international student in Sweden, if you have any?
I guess for me, so I come from Lithuania, as I said, so like I didn't have much of a like culture shock or many differences that I experienced culturally. However, I think initially I came to Sweden as a bachelor student, like on exchange, and then everything was going like well and smooth, and I felt like work-life balance was easy to keep. But that might be not because I'm international, but because of it's a master's program. Even though it was 2 years, it felt so intense and so packed. So I think I felt it challenging to keep work-life balance, like actually not working too many hours, not staying late nights, studying. But I mean, I managed in the end, but I know that I really had to consciously push for like, no, you're going to work out instead of studying, or you're going to meet friends, even though there's always something extra you can do. I don't know, Mumbi, about you, but I feel like readings never end in master studies. Like there were always readings that I was behind with, and then I just, there are some that I never caught up with. So I think the amount of work that we're expected to do was quite challenging in my program.
And I would say in terms of challenges, so much was so new for me. Of course, the weather is very different here to the climate in my country because it's a very warm place. So that was a challenge. The darkness, which I don't mind. I think it was also the cold because I'm not a huge fan of the cold. So that was an adjustment. And I would also say the first week of being here, so all international or rather EU, non-EU students have guaranteed accommodation, but I missed that time to accept it, so that was a bit of a challenge. So I came here not knowing where I was going to stay, and fortunately I came in the first few weeks, so I was here when what was it called?
Arrival week?
Yes, that's the one. Yes. So the orientation weeks, and I was fortunate enough to have gotten connected to Bupulen. And through that, I met what I call my Swedish family.
Yes.
So I stayed with them for the first week and a half. And then after that, I was in my own accommodation. So something challenging ended up being like a cherry on top, like a good thing in the end. Because they made it to my graduation. So that was a really special thing. Yeah, so we've kept in touch over the past few months. So that was pretty special.
They were there in the beginning and then they were there in the end to enjoy. Yeah.
All the way through.
So you worked it out.
In a way, it's not just the studying. What we will take away from our time in Lund, it's all the people we met, both inside and outside the classroom.
Exactly.
But they're not a challenge for me. Well, at start the Swedish, I mean, the joke was you don't know how to say sugar or salt. Well, salt is salt, so okay, bad example. But it can be quite new and how to navigate the first time in the supermarket or the first time ordering something. So, but I guess it's a little struggles at start that make them worthwhile in the end. And that you remember, of course, and you get better at it as you go. And in terms of your expectations before coming to Lund or to Sweden, did your experience match some of your expectations, or were you taken aback, like, oh no, that's not what I wanted? Or on the opposite, that's not what I wanted, but that's even better?
Personally, I would say I came with an open mind.
Yeah.
So I came for adventures. I like to say I came for vibes.
Yeah.
And I got that.
Did you get the vibes?
Oh, I got the vibes.
Nice.
I got the vibes. I got the fun experience. I got the learning. I got the meeting international people from all sorts of parts of the world. So I kind of tried to not be too dogmatic about it. So in that sense, I think I was happy with my experience.
I guess similar. Now I can't even remember what was I expecting 2 years ago or like 2.5 years ago when I was applying. I guess I definitely learned more about sustainability and about the environmental management and policy. That was the main goal, basically, because my bachelor's was completely different. That was public relations and communications, and then I felt like I want to do something within sustainability, but I don't want to go there just with the motivation and ambition. I want to go with knowledge. And I definitely got that in my backpack now. So very happy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and you were talking about sustainability, and that was one of the new experiences for me, this thing of recycling. In Mauritius, my dad's an agronomist, so he likes plants, but we did composting, so we would separate the, let's say, food waste from the rest.
Yeah.
But here, it's even to another level, because you separate your paper, plastic, metal, glass.
Colored glass.
And colored glass, exactly. And the fact that it's well indicated, it makes it easy to just follow and build up on that. So there's no reason to go against, what's already well established in society. And that's one thing I really like about Sweden. It's everything is so orderly. You just want to keep going and to follow.
Yeah.
Everyone stays in queues.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Or they know that you will be served, so you will just wait for your time, and everyone keeps it calm like that. I don't know if you've been learning Swedish, but there's one expression that they call is i magen, which would mean keep your cold in your stomach. So basically, if let's say you get a bit angry, try to tone it down, take a breath, make it cool inside you first before you approach someone. It's quite representative of Swedish society. But if we talk a bit more about, let's say, your student life or your studies more specifically, would you say that there were specific sort of support services from the university that made you graduate today, or let's say that gave you a bit more help in making your studies a bit easier, especially at the master's level with so many readings here and there?
I would say definitely. We had the librarians come into our class and share different methods for research and how to find sources on the library portal. And so that was really helpful. And then we also had academic services that introduced themselves to us in the first early weeks that we could always go to if we had any challenges in our assignments. So we could check in with them to guide us on how to approach. And they even had things like writing sessions.
Yes, I've heard about those.
Yeah, I didn't go to any of them, but that was available. So one thing I did really appreciate about my student experience is that anytime you had any questions or you needed support, even from your program coordinator, you could approach them and tell them what your challenges were, and you knew that you would be supported. Yeah.
Exactly, like close to home. I mean, within my institute, within my building where I spent most of my study hours, then it was definitely always easy to ask like your program coordinator or any professor. A nice thing about Swedish academic setting is that you're equal sort of to the professors, so you get used to not being afraid to approach them and just to ask whatever questions you have, and then come with any worries, either they're academic or even personal if they affect your life as a student. Then yes, I've also heard about the writing sessions. I haven't joined, but I know I have some of the friends who were going there. So you go there and you have 4 hours where you're almost like in a silent room with other people also working on something, and then there's a specific time for like a fika, like a coffee break or something, and you're sort of how do you call it? chaperoned. There's someone making sure that you're working. So, I mean, they don't look at your computer, but they do create an environment where you are less willing to procrastinate, for example, which is super useful. So you just book that for free, and I definitely know people who benefited from that a lot.
Yeah.
Talking about procrastination, also there's a group, like sort of anti-procrastination group, or like I think they call themselves like Plan, Do, Act or something. Also, I've heard that it's very helpful. So like you have weekly goals and you have accountability, because we all experience some struggle sometimes with motivation. But what I also used is the student mental health or student health center. I think it's called student health center. Yeah. So then you can also go there and have a sort of therapy sessions and just get some help from professionals there, and then just talk about how your personal life is combined with academic life and whatever struggles you experience. So that was definitely helpful for me, and that is amazing. Yeah, that we have access to that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got the librarians' help as well, because in Lund University, depending on your subject, you would have something like I think 26 libraries on campus, and every library has the librarian. So, let's say I'm studying social sciences, and someone will study Asian studies or environmental management policy. Every library has someone to guide you with the assignments, the reading list. Yeah. And that's, it just makes it easier for you.
And Mumbi worked in the library, or still works, right?
I did, yeah. I worked for 10 years in my home country as a librarian. So I was really happy to come here and touch base and meet with librarians here and see how they do what they do. And it's great. The support is great. The online searching of books is great. And when you go into the actual libraries, there's such a wide variety of books that you can access on the shelf and then also online. So it's good resources. Great for support.
I was doing an internship in Mauritius before coming to Sweden, and my supervisor once said, librarians are the real source of knowledge, because librarians know more than you think. I mean, they know everything in a library, so never hesitate to ask a librarian. They can definitely help you. And I think I was going to, let's say you talked a bit about this proximity between Swedish or teachers at Lund or in the Swedish environment, Swedish class. Would you say that both of you, did you adapt easily to this particular Swedish learning environment and social environment, maybe?
For me, it was, I think, I took it well. I think for me it's nice. I had, like, my bachelor's was in the UK, and there it is different, but I still felt like my program was very tiny in my bachelor's program, so like not big in numbers, so we were having close relationship with the few professors that we had as well. And then when I came here, I do enjoy this non-hierarchical communication, and I generally trust people, and I feel like I enjoy the relationship that we can build together. So I don't... for me it was nice. But how about you, Mumbi?
I would say it's something that I enjoyed. I'm a very curious person and I ask questions a lot. And it was welcomed. And I sometimes was surprised, like, wow, so you're not annoyed that I'm so inquisitive? Like, it's a good thing. So I appreciated that I could approach my professors either in class, challenge some of the things that they were saying, or even approach them outside of that, like when they had their visiting hours, to ask for further guidance on certain things that I maybe didn't fully understand. So that I really enjoyed, for sure. It's different from the context I come from. So that was a welcome change.
Yeah, no need to call them by professor or doctor. It's just...
Go Benny.
Annie. I just wanted to jump back on something you mentioned on the student support services. There's one that I haven't used myself, but it's to help with your academic writing in English, if you're doing an English taught program. And that is open to both Swedish and non-Swedish students, because if you think about it, Swedish students, let's say in the bachelor's, might have studied in Swedish. So they are open to join those classes. So in a way, they are to the same level in terms of writing in English to those who don't have English as a native language or as a first language, I would say. But so again, being inclusive, everyone is equal, and that's into the question of social life. That's something that I really liked about Sweden. They treat you as you are to our equal. You are like us, so you deserve the same. And that just makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
And if you move on a bit more to the future, if you talk about your career, of course, we can't read the future right now, but if you can think, how did your education at Lund prepare you for your career goals?
I will answer that question. But I also want to say something for me that was a highlight that I didn't mention before is I'm a Swedish Institute scholar, and I had the honor of giving a speech at our diploma ceremony.
Wow.
Yes.
And it was in the Blue Holland.
You forgot that?
Imagine that. Yeah. Well, my brain is still post-thesis, so I can be forgiven. It was in the Blue Holland, which I didn't even realize is such a prestigious thing, because that's where the Nobel Prize givers give their speeches, and they had their banquet in that hall. So that was
Stockholm.
Such a huge... Yes.
In Stockholm.
Yeah, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So that was such a huge honor. And connected to that is one thing I really do appreciate, not just on the Swedish Institute Scholarship, but just being a Lund International student, is that you meet so many people from different cultures. So I see myself now as a global professional. And so wherever I'll go, wherever I'll be, it's just having the emotional intelligence and the ability to lead with empathy, and then knowing different cultures and being aware of those nuances. So I think that's really valuable, regardless of where you go, being able to listen, being able to respect people's different opinions and perspectives, and have those conversations, and not think that I know the way and that's it, I'm intelligent. No, everybody has something to add to the conversation, and you can learn and build community and move forward in that sense. So I thought that was really valuable, and that helps you as a toolbox on how to navigate the future, because they call it agility, being able to adapt to different environments.
Exactly. Hard to add to this. It's a really good answer, and I can only echo. I think you learn how to learn, and you just learn that it's not like you're going to finish a master's degree, get a diploma, and that means I'm done now, I can work forever. But I mean, you just realize that, okay, I learned how to approach things, and then whenever I get any job, I will keep learning within the job as well. So just alongside all the people.
No, it's just thing of, again, back to equality, or just making sure everyone's opinion is listened to, at least. And that means that you need to be very open and accepting of so many different opinions. And I think that's one great thing about having such international classrooms, as you mentioned, Lukrecija. You are forced to listen to your classmates, and you don't want to get them wrong. So you are forced to listen and to make sure that you understand. And if you don't understand, you ask them questions. So there's a dialogue going on. And that's a perfect exchange of knowledge and culture in that sense. So I'm very grateful to Lund to giving such an exposure of the whole world.
Yes.
Was it 130 nationalities? Even Mauritius?
Yeah.
Which is very far away. So, no, it's for an international career, I guess.
Absolutely.
And now, do you have plans now that you graduated from Lund University? What are your plans?
My most close-term plans are to definitely enjoy the Swedish summer and just sort of, as I said, recollect myself and just relax after 2 years of quite intense studies. But then I plan to stay in Sweden, in Malmö more specifically, and then looking for a job here. Yes. Wish me luck.
Good luck. And can I ask if you speak Swedish, or have you learned Swedish?
So I've been learning Swedish, but I think I need to amp it up. So my comprehension is pretty good, reading is really good, so I can watch the movies and all, but I don't think I can really work and write reports and make presentations in Swedish as good as I can do them in English. So I'm mainly probably targeting international companies to begin with, but for sure I could handle a work culture after works in Swedish, but I think my main deliverables for now should be still in English.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep on learning though, Bénédicte. I can see the wink wink.
It's definitely a plus if you learn the language.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of learning languages, I love to learn languages, and in my study program, I was so overwhelmed with so much schoolwork that I didn't have the bandwidth to do that. So I know in the summer I want to learn a language or two. And I'm ambitious. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Yes, I know I'd like to do that. I know that I'd like to see a lot more Skåne. Funny enough, I traveled a lot outside of Sweden, but not so much within. So I'd like to see places within Skåne. It's beautiful in the summer, I hear.
Oh yes, definitely. Swedish summer is something worthy to wait during the dark months. So now you have it.
Yes. And in terms of career, I would like to find a job within the EU. Mm-hmm. And I have ambitions of working in my home country within policy. Oh. But I would like to start off by getting more of an international exposure and then benchmark that back home. Yeah, once I get enough experience and see where this goes.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, and the Skåne region where we're in, I mean, we can talk hours about Skåne, but it's so beautiful. Just to see it's flat. It's for those who come from. I mean, in Mauritius we have small mountains.
Right.
Maybe you would call them hills.
Okay. 800
meters, but here there's no mountain almost. Mm-hmm. I think the highest point in Lund is 300 meters, like Sankt Hans, the hill. But it's still such a beautiful landscape, the whole region. So it's worth taking time to discover it in the summer. And if we can ask, do you have any advice for future international students who are considering studying in Lund?
I mean, don't doubt yourself. I would say go for it. Always, don't worry if you're gonna get in or not gonna get in. Just go for it. Just believe in yourself, and then see where life brings you. And don't give up if you get a no first. I also have some classmates that had to apply to the program 3 times. They knew what they want. They had to apply again and again. Maybe you get in, but then you need to apply again and again for the scholarship or something. So yes, never give up. And then once you're here, I mean, now I'm backtracking, looking back at 2 years. So it's important to enjoy the journey, because when it comes to the end, everyone says enjoy the time spent and then not look just towards the last award. But it always feels like it's never enough. I feel like I did want to savor even more, like those small moments, as we said, and just work hard, but also enjoy life hard too. So don't just work.
That's good. That's good. And for me, I am actually one of those people who applied more than once. So I applied to Lund University the first time. I got into my program of choice, but I didn't get funding, so I wasn't able to come here. And then I applied a second time, and then I got the Swedish Institute Scholarship, and then I also got still accepted into my program of choice. So I would echo that, be clear about what you want and go for it. You never know, you might get it. Try again. Don't stop until you get what you are looking for. And I would say, once you come here, be open to learning about the culture, because that will help you so much. Learn the language if you can. And if you can't, still meet people from different parts of the world. That's part of the experience being an international student in a different country. If you only keep to what you know, or the places or the people that are from your own context, you miss out on the opportunity to learn from other cultures and so much just from conversation.
Exactly.
And what else would I say? I would say have fun. We're all so focused and motivated and intelligent, but you're not here just to study. You're here to have a full body experience. So look for the little things, like take a walk through the forest, or go to the beach, or go to a language class if you have the ability to do that. See some sights. Make the experience holistic, because that will help you also balance. And you'll learn so much about yourself. So be open to learning and questioning things that you thought, this is who I am. Just keep a flexible idea about life, and you grow and enjoy the process.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure, an advice in general, both coming to Lund and coming to Sweden more generally, it's just to not be afraid to meet people, because let's say you're from a faraway country or faraway culture or a different language, and you will always feel, I don't know if I will fit in. But I think there is a place for many, if not everyone, in Lund specifically. And Lund is, the student life is quite active. So whether you like pottery or knitting those days, or rugby, I've heard, or cheerleading, there is a space for you. So just come and be open to meeting new people, as you said, maybe. But anything else that comes to your mind that you would like to share?
I am just hyped about my graduation ceremony next week. That's all.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm really looking forward. Exactly.
Yes. But just to tie up maybe with the title, I think whatever we've discussed today shows that it's more than just graduating. It's a whole journey.
It's a whole journey.
Well, I thank you for your insights, your inputs. Thank you for being here on this episode.
Yeah.
And I wish you a nice ceremony.
Thank you very much.
Lukrecija, and a nice learning of languages for you, Mumbi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Bénédicte.
Thank you, Bénédicte.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Lund University International Podcast. If you're interested in learning more about Lund University, you can go to our website, lunduniversity.lu.se. You can also follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook and X, and you can chat with current students on Unibody. Don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you a new episode very soon.